Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in our Fortnite video, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks on how to get better here in Fortnite. And so the tips in this video can apply to anyone, and this is I would say probably the easiest and best way to improve in Fortnite to ensure you're going to improve the fastest way possible. So definitely stay to the end of the video. I have a lot of tips for you guys that can really help you guys out. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. If you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and as well subscribe to my second channel. The link for that will be in the description or the pinned comment. Turn on my post notifications and as well comment down below your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And as well, if you guys would like to support me in the item shop, all you guys have to do is go over to the item shop, go down to support a creator, type in my code is Young Humor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator. I really do appreciate all you guys who do add me. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I was just going to have one gameplay of this solo win that I got, the gameplay you're seeing right now, and for whatever reason, it cut out after I think I was at the 11 kill mark. I ended up dropping about 14 in the game. It was a really, really good game, but unfortunately, it really didn't get the end, so I do have two gameplays, and the second gameplay, I think I was playing either duos or squads. I absolutely went in that game too. I think I dropped about 14 or 15 kills. Very good gameplay as well, but I wanted to be talking about in this video the best way to improve, and this is something that I do all the time that really does give me an edge when it comes to improving the fastest way possible, because I really think that's the best way to get a lot more wins very, very fast. And that's just going to give you an edge against every single player you go against, because the game is constantly changing, as you guys know, with the updates in the game. When they like change turbo building, when they buff certain weapons, bring back a certain weapon. I really like the TAC SMG that they bring back. I love the weapon a ton. Use it at pretty much every single game. I absolutely go in with it. So they do make a lot of changes and also a lot of gameplay changes. So this is really important. So when you want to be able to get a lot more wins, being able to adapt to these changes very quickly is going to give you an edge. So that's why improving in this game is probably one of the most important things that you can do, because a really good player back in season like 3 or 4 compared to now, because if you put a top player back in season 3 or 4 against some of the top players now, all those players would get absolutely destroyed, because all the changes they made into the game when it comes to building, editing, decision making, different playstyles, and things like that. There's so many different changes that they add into the game that you guys have to adapt to. But as far as improving and the way that I go about it, that I think is going to help you guys out a lot, and this is something that has worked for me time and time again. Doesn't matter if I was playing Fortnite, whether I was playing Call of Duty, maybe even, freaking Minecraft. It really doesn't even matter what I was playing. Definitely the best way to improve, and something that I always do, is, so first of all, I always try to focus on one specific thing, and really that could just be building, editing, aiming, really anything you can think of. I mean, there's also decision making, IQ, maybe getting better with trap kills, different things like that. There's always going to be so many different things you can improve on. But the one thing that I do after I choose one of those things that I want to improve on is I try to set a goal, and where that be. And just for an example, just for an easy example, if it comes to building, maybe I'm not so good at 90s. I'm pretty sure pretty much all of you guys who are watching this video have pretty good 90s. It's one of those things that's been out since like season 4. Just one of the number one things that people practice, so I'm pretty sure just about all of you guys would have 90s down pretty well. But say for example, I'm not so good at 90s, and that's something that I want to improve on. So maybe in a day, the number one thing that I want to focus on, because there's so many different things, like I said, you have aiming, editing, everything like that, but the number one thing that I want to focus on is going to be improving my 90s. So you really have to set a standard, like you maybe want to be a little bit more consistent, maybe you want to have faster 90s, because when it comes to speed and different things like that with building, it's a lot easier to have it down really consistently. And then there's one thing to have it very fast, and also to have it consistently and fast. That's going to be very difficult to do as well. So you really have to improve in all those type of aspects, but you want to have a goal for yourself. And as well, when it comes to the day, you just want to focus on specifically improving that aspect the most. And one thing that I've been working on recently a lot more is editing. And when it comes to editing, I really just try to focus on the majority of edits that you would normally do every single game, because a lot of crazy edits you see a lot of people do and maybe creative and different things like that, but it's not really that practical when it comes to actual games, even in arena or public matches. It's really not that practical and only something you would do for a little bit of flash, and it does look pretty cool, but as far as practicality and something that you would do every single game, it's just not something that you would do very often or pretty much at all. So the main edits that I focus on are edits that you would normally do every single game. So, different type of wall edits, maybe cone edits, floor edits, just practice editing and resetting it, and different edits like that. So I specifically focus on the edits that I would use every single game, and maybe for that day that I want to focus on wall edits, so maybe I'll hop into creative and just really focus on wall edits for maybe like 20 minutes or so, and then in game I really focus on going for a lot of edit plays when it comes to the wall, because that's going to be the number one thing that I want to focus on. And I would work on that for probably like a few days. Specifically, of course, I would, continue to play pubs and work on other stuff, but that would be my main goal. And after a few days, I would notice that I've gotten a lot better at it. And once I got really good at wall edits, maybe the next day I'm going to work on floor edits, or maybe even stair edits or ramp edits. Because when it comes to ramps, I think that's probably one of the hardest things to have very consistently, because when it comes to floors, you just can click it once and you can drag it. Super simple, super easy. But with ramps and stairs, you have to drag it from one side to the other, so it can be a lot more difficult depending on the angle that you have to have that edit down very consistently. So with edits like that are a little bit more difficult, you definitely have to put a lot more time into it, because if you're working on floor edits, this is something you could probably spend maybe like a half day on and have pretty well. But when it comes to edits that maybe are a little bit more difficult, and maybe edits that are a little bit are faster, or edits you would have to do a lot faster in game, it could take a little bit longer to learn and to have down, just because it takes a lot longer to learn those edits, and just a lot more difficult to do something that not everyone's gonna have down very well. But those things that a lot of people don't have down very well are the exact same things that's gonna give you the biggest advantage in gunfights, because if other players don't have it down very well and you have it down, down packed every single try, it's going to give you such a major advantage, especially if it's something that you would do every single game. Maybe it's like a quick stare at it. Maybe you would, flip the stare around, break it, and then go for an edit play. Different things like that. As I, went for a play on this guy, made a very, very quick ramp edit. I think he was trying to go for a trap kill, but I went fast enough to where he couldn't even get a trap off before I edited, pulled my pump, shot him, switched to my SMG, and finished him off. And just an example like that is just huge, because he could have easily killed me if I was even like a second slower. He could have easily pulled the traps on me and got a kill, but I was so much faster. I knew that I was going to be a lot faster than that player, that I still went for the edit, and I finished him off even before he could even pull out one trap. But if you're constantly practicing all those edits, I would say even within a week, you could see major improvements to your game in any specific category. I was just using editing and building, for example, but you can really see major improvements in just a week max, and especially if you practice every day and you really focus on practicing those type of things. And when it comes to aiming, you can practice maybe short distance, because aiming with a assault rifle is way different than aiming with a shotgun or SMG. It's completely different. The feel of it's very different. And close range with the SMG, there's a lot of hip firing, and there's a lot of difference between, for me, I L2 spam when it comes to long distances, as you see here. So L2 spamming from distance is going to be a lot different than hit firing an SMG point blank, because at this distance right here, the other players are fighting, there's no pressure on me, that I don't have to worry about the other player shooting back. But if the other guy is very close range and I'm in an SMG fight, I pretty much have to hit all the shots before they do, or I'm going to end up losing that gunfight, which is the last thing that I want to do. So I really have to focus on specific aiming. So maybe I want to practice SMG shots, maybe I want to practice shotgun aim for the day. I really just specifically try to focus on one weapon at a time, and once I get really good at that weapon, then I switch to another weapon, and then eventually I get really good with all the weapons in the game, and I can play a lot better than I did the previous week. And that's really the mindset you have to have, and really the best way to go about it when it comes to improving in the game, in my opinion. And with that being said, that's wrap up for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys liked it, make sure you guys do drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on my post notifications so you guys are notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.